By following these three simple steps, you are guaranteed to price your home correctly every time. Thanks for watching today's podcast. Here we go. Hello, everybody, and welcome back again to the Elite Realty Group Podcast, where we bring you the most up-to-date, relevant real estate information you'll find anywhere on the planet. You're going to get it right here, and we have a great show for you today. One of the questions we get quite often is, tell me what I got to do in today's real estate market to get my home priced correctly. If you're looking for that information, you are in the right spot. I am Mike Elkins with Elite Realty Group in Morristown, Tennessee. Got my co-host with me here today, Dave Elkins, and we're looking forward to giving you this information. But first, how you, my man?
Doing good, doing good. It's going to be a good one here today.
This is going to be a real good one. And I have to say before we go too far, though, big shout out to the people that's been listening to the podcast and watching the podcast and all those big things, man. We've been having some really, really big numbers. Right. We've been trying to give good content. Mm-hmm. That way people, again, are prepared. We tell people all the time, or I should back up for a moment. We get asked all the time, why are you so forthcoming? Why do y'all give so much information? Would you not want to hold that and have a one-on-one conversation with somebody? Well, of course we want one-on-one conversations, but withholding the information is just not the right thing.
We always say we want people to be informed.
Absolutely. It makes our job a whole lot easier.
It does. It makes
when
it a lot easier.
People do that. So today, as you said, I think it's going to be a good one because we're going to be talking about something that literally we do on a daily basis, first of all. But honestly, the calls that you get in the real estate business, people saying, I need to sell my house, but I don't have a clue what this thing's worth.
Right.
How do I figure that out? Mm-hmm. Well, we're going to drop that information today. No secrets here.
Or even worse, when they already think they know what it might be worth.
True. That's even more. That's a really, really good point. But we say this because we've done a show before, we've done a podcast before about the reasons you need to work with a realtor, and that will always hold. Mm-hmm. But we're giving this information out today. There may be people out there trying to do for sale by owner.
Right.
There may be people out there who've tried with a real estate agent and it didn't work.
Yeah.
They didn't get it right. They don't all sell. It's not 100 proof. You may be an investor. You may be looking to buy a home.
Right.
You want to know the value buying and selling.
Either way.
Okay. The price is a big deal. You don't want to overpay. You don't want to do all these things. So that's why I think you said earlier, this is going to be a big show. Yeah. This is going to be a big one. We're literally going to walk you through the steps of exactly what you need to look at. And more importantly, not only what you need to look at, but why you need to look at it.
Right. Why that's
to
important.
Get your home priced correctly.
Yeah.
Now, I think we can open with a loaded question. Okay. We have people call us a lot of times, and it is, hey, I want to sell my house, and I think this is what it's worth. Mm-hmm. And they've got that number, okay? Right. Now, of course, we want to try to, I think it's no secret, but I do get amused, what I call it, amused. Mm-hmm. It amuses me that people would think that we as real estate agents want to cut the price of your house.
Yeah, that's always funny to me.
You know what I'm saying?
Yeah, that's always funny. They think that that we're trying to get a deal.
Yeah, like we're not buying it, first of all. We want to get it sold.
Right. That's objective number one, is to get it sold.
Exactly.
And more importantly, let's just not be shy and avoid the elephant in the room.
Right.
That we get paid on the price.
The purchase price.
That it sells at.
Exactly.
So I'm not a smart man.
Right.
But I can tell you, if something sells for $300,000 versus something that sells for $200,000, I'm going to get paid more on the $300,000.
Getting more money.
We'll get more money.
I'm getting more money.
So it just makes more sense that as an agent,
right,
we're trying to get you the maximum value that
the
you
most
get.
Money.
Yeah.
And that was kind of what I was alluding to, is they've got that number in their head most of the time.
Right.
But why do you think when it comes to that again, this is maybe another elephant in the room, but why do you think most people, when they do call us and they're like, I want you to sell my house and here's the number. Why do you think that number is inflated most of the time? Because it really most of the time.
Yeah, I mean, I'd say 95% of the time that
It's
number's
inflated.
probably too high.
Sure.
There is times that it's lower.
Oh yeah,
and
there
you
are.
love when you can tell those people you're actually trying to
You're
give
cutting
your house
yourself.
away. Yeah. But why? So why do you think that number's high?
Yeah. Why do you think it's usually higher?
Because I think in their mind, the philosophy is always you start it high.
Sure.
And you can always bring that thing down.
I agree. And that's not the best philosophy to go with.
That is not. It's
we
proven.
may get into that.
That
Who
is
knows
proven.
what we're going to. It is proven over and over and over. So again, that's why we're giving this information today, is to give you that ammunition, give you the steps, what you need to look at and why. So let's jump right in. Okay. Pricing a home in today's market. We had this conversation or a meeting this morning here at the office. Not the easiest thing to do right now.
It's not. Yeah.
Not the easiest thing to do. And again, I know this is a nationwide podcast. We're talking specifically, we're out of Morristown, Tennessee, but this is true across the country.
Yeah, I think it holds true.
Volatility in the real estate market is a real thing. It's all across the board though.
Right.
Supply and demand is making a lot of that stuff happen. But when you want to say, how do I do this? There's these three areas. The first thing that we're going to do, okay, and this is just a side note, and this is something that a person probably wouldn't do because they live in the house. But if somebody asks us to price their house, I can literally make numbers say anything I want them to say.
Yeah.
Like I can make them say anything.
Yeah.
If you could do anything at all, anybody can. But we kind of want to come out and lay eyes on it.
Right.
Like we want to
kind of
say,
important. Let's
go out and look. Let's see if, we need some paint. We may need some floors. Let's see if there's any damage anywhere. And we're going to put eyes on it. Now, you as a person pricing your house, you don't have to do that. You already got it figured out.
Right.
But the first thing that I think people need to realize, and here's the first step, first place you need to look when you're pricing your house, is once you decide to put the for sale sign in the yard, whether that's a for sale by owner or whether that's with a real estate agent, you immediately go into competition with other homes that are currently out there for sale.
Absolutely.
Thus, going back to what you were just saying, that inflated price is not the best strategy. Okay.
Right.
Because people are going to look at this and say, I got 3 houses in the same neighborhood here. Okay. I've got 3 houses in the same part of the county on the same acreage. This house is $300,000. These houses are $250,000, and I can't tell a bit of difference in them.
Right.
That's why the inflated price don't work. But the first area you want to look at, because you are going into competition immediately, you want to look at what is actively listed for sale.
Right.
Now, let's throw it out there, do some explanation. Why do you want to look what is actively for sale when you're putting your home on the market?
Like you just said, you now know what your competition is.
Sure.
Whether you realize it or not, when you decide to put your house on the market, you have entered a competition.
No doubt.
Everybody is looking. And I always give the analogy about car shopping.
Right.
Okay. If I'm wanting to buy a Chevy Tahoe, okay, I'm going to look on the internet.
Sure.
And I'm going to see who's got Chevy Tahoes for sale.
No doubt.
Now, if there's 3 car lots in town that have a Chevy Tahoe, it's not smart for one of them to price it $15,000 higher than everybody else does.
No.
Because they know that, people know we'll negotiate. They know we'll drop. People's just going to go to where the one's at.
They're going to go
That's
there.
At the price.
You're probably never coming to yours.
They're probably never going to even make it to yours to find out that you're willing to negotiate.
Right.
They're not even going to come there.
Right. And a real estate, scenario is kind of, it's the same, but at the same point in time, it's not like they're going to walk up in the front yard and say, hey, before we come in.
Yeah.
Are you willing to drop the price on
Right.
this? That's not going to happen.
No.
So what they do is they just exclude
They just rule that one out.
It's gone.
It's gone.
Like, that one's out, okay,
Yeah.
because of the price. So you need to look at what's actively on the market because that is your competition. Now, we hear this a lot. We get the call or somebody wants to know the price of their house and they're like, now my neighbor, they're trying to sell their house and they've got theirs priced for X, $350,000.
Yeah.
Now I know mine's better than theirs.
Right.
Okay. I mean, I just put new carpet in the bedrooms. I know my house better. So I mean, if theirs is worth $350,
right?
Well, mine's worth $375.
Mm-hmm.
We hear that a lot.
Or that it's still worth $350.
Sure.
Because keywords, neighbors has got theirs for sale.
Exactly.
Ain't sold yet. Neighbors
Two
could be
things are
negotiating.
Happening there. 2 things are happening there. They said the key word. They have put it up for sale.
Yeah.
Okay. Now, we're not saying that's the know all end all. And we're not going to base our price off of what is active.
Right.
Has nothing to do with it. We are just looking at actives. Mm-hmm. So when we do find that number of the price, which we will get to telling you how to do that, we're going to look at it and say, okay, where are we now? Mm-hmm. Where are we in terms of everything else on the market? Now, a couple elephants in the room, you might have the best house.
Yeah, you
in
really
the neighborhood.
That happens.
You might have the best house in that particular part of the county, and yours be worth more than everybody else's.
Right.
But on the other hand, you might have the worst.
Yeah.
You might fit right in.
Good blend, yeah.
But most people miss the point of looking at the actives of what's on the market because you just need to know for yourself what is happening.
Right.
What is people trying to do? Keyword trying to do that I'm trying to do.
Because it hasn't happened yet.
It's not got to where we want it to go. You told us you want to sell your house.
Right.
Not list it.
Right.
Okay. We tell people all the time, we don't list them to list them. We list them to sell them.
Right.
So we're going to look at all these parts, and you as a homeowner trying to sell your house, you need to look at what's currently active.
Yeah, and you need to make sure that, again, those things are comparable.
Sure.
You know, you want to try to compare as close as you can.
Apples to apples.
Yeah. So that's where you're trying to look at.
That's what I was going to say. You're not only, when you're looking at actives, you're not only looking at price.
Right.
You're looking at condition. Mm-hmm. You're looking at brick to brick. Mm-hmm. You know, hardwood and hardwood, granite and granite. Mm-hmm. You're trying to see, okay, how does these pieces, this puzzle all fit in here?
Right.
But most people just get hung up on the price.
Yeah, we see it's really common around here because a lot of houses have basements. You know, we'll see that, you know, one's got some finished living in the basement,
right,
and one don't. And the one that don't is trying to say, well, I mean, you could always.
You could do it.
You could, yeah, right, but it's not at the current moment.
I'm with you.
So, yeah, make sure that you're comparing apples to apples, but you want to see,
yes,
again, take price to a sense out of it.
Sure.
You know what I mean? If you think your house is worth $300, don't just go look at houses priced at $300.
Right.
If yours is 3-bedroom, 2-bath, 1,500 square feet, look at 3-bedroom, 2-bath, 1,500 square feet to see where those fall in that price.
Yes, and there are outliers that you would say, you know, this area, because the location's a big deal.
Absolutely.
You know, this location is better than that location that those 3 bedrooms and 2-bath, 1,500 square foot in. So you could get more. But that's again why you're looking.
Right.
You know what I mean? You want to look and you want to compare. You want to see all these things. That just gives you a sense of someone trying to price the house, and it gives us a sense as a realtor trying to price the house of what is happening with this style home in the market right now.
Right.
What are people trying to do?
Right.
So the first thing you need to do is, when we're looking at these 3 to guarantee you're going to price it correctly every time, look at your competition.
Right.
Look at your competition.
It's a big deal.
And you got to look at it with an open mind. Okay. You can't be closed-minded to this.
Because we all know, man, you know, houses, people are emotionally attached to houses.
Yes, I'm with
and
you.
Rightfully so.
Sure.
But I'm saying when it comes to selling the house, we have to kind of set our emotions aside.
We have to.
And make sure that we're getting a real true picture of what the house's value is.
Right. Typically at this point in time, with someone coming and looking at your house, they're not emotionally attached whatsoever.
No, they're not.
They're looking at it on marketing and price being bigger than marketing in most cases. So look at the actives. That's where we want to start at. We want to look at that. That's going to give us a feel, give us a sense what is currently going on. Now, typically I talk about the game winner here, but I'm going to jump, and we're going to save the game winner for last.
Okay.
Then one of the other segments you want to look at, so we look at actives, but the next segment you want to look at is someone trying to price a home is the expired market.
Yeah.
Okay. The expired market, what is an expired listing? That's someone who put their home up for sale. This is the same true about land, but I'm saying home. They've put their home up for sale. They've tried to do what you are getting ready to do. The actives are currently trying The expireds have actually went out on the limb, did everything they needed to do.
Had it for 6 months for
put
sale.
the sign in the yard, opened it up for showings, put the marketing out, tried to do what you're going to try to do, and they did not succeed.
Yeah.
Why do we look at the expired market? Is because they are going to give us the roadmap of what not to do.
Right.
What not to do.
Yeah.
Talk more about that.
It's all a big story.
It is.
All of
it's
those.
puzzle.
All of those. Yeah, it's a puzzle. So every part of that tells a story. So those people, like you said, they tried it.
Mm-hmm.
You have seen now, this is where I don't want to be.
Exactly.
And those could be a variety of things.
Mm-hmm.
Most of the time, it always comes back down to the price.
Yes.
It could be that it had terrible marketing, terrible pictures. It could be that simple.
Uh-huh.
So plug here, if your house or property has been for sale, and it did not sell, don't give up hope.
Absolutely not.
Have a conversation with someone else
and
figure out if it's something that you need to move, then okay, something in this first package I tried here was wrong.
Exactly.
So now let's move on to another package. So again, back to this. Those people have tried it, didn't work for whatever reason. So I don't need to follow that pattern.
Exactly. And again, like you said, it all is putting a puzzle together for you in your mind. What do I need to do about pricing this house?
Right.
What do I need to do? It also, if you will be open-minded, that's why I said that at the beginning, keep an open mind in everything that you're looking at. If you're doing what you said to do as someone pricing a house and you're comparing apples to apples, okay? You have to, at this point in looking at an expired listing, considering all things are the same, and in this scenario we are, you have to ask yourself the question, these people tried it and it didn't work. What leads me to believe if I go down that same path, why would I have any different results than what these people already tried to do?
Yeah.
You have to ask that.
You do, yeah.
And it's a hard question to ask. That is why a lot of times I think, and here's, you gave a shameless plug not to give up. I'm going to give a shameless plug to why get a third party opinion, get a realtor involved in this. We're not emotionally attached to your house.
Right.
You are. We're going to look at it probably more open-minded just because we can. Than you as the homeowner looking to do this. We're going to be able to be more open-minded about it.
Right.
And I don't know if people know this or not, but like realtors live to do market analysis, which is what we're talking about essentially doing.
Yeah.
Like if you called any realtor up in your town today, said, I'm thinking about selling my house, I'd like you to do me a market analysis. They would be tickled pink.
Oh, yeah.
Now, whether you list with them or not, that's a whole nother story.
Right.
But we'd love for you to call and ask us, could you do me a market analysis? We ain't going to charge you anything for it.
Yeah.
I can't say that that's that way all across the country because you can, but we don't.
Right.
To us, we look at it as that's a conversation that we could potentially have with you to list your house.
Right.
But going back to it, don't be afraid to engage people like that.
Yeah.
That's going to be able to help you with this.
Right. And I want to throw this little plug in too, because again, this is stuff you just see, it's on social media, it's on all these other different platforms, but you see that I want to make sure that I put a lot of emphasis on a lot of those listings do expire. And I'm going to say 98 or plus % because price.
No doubt.
Okay. It's the majority of the time it's going to be about price.
Yes.
Because now here's what I'm saying. We're going to have people comment on this thing right now and say, well, I could probably get more money out of my house if I have professional pictures coming.
Right.
So that's how I'm going to make up the difference.
Sure.
Well, I mean, let's just be honest.
Sure.
Those people, most of the time, are going to come to the house. So you can doctor a picture as much as you want.
Yes.
But at some point in time, somebody's going to really walk in that house.
Yes.
And I'm not bashing pictures by no means.
No. They're very
They
important.
are very important.
Yes, they are.
But I'm saying you can't say, well, those people didn't have professional pictures and I'm going to have professional pictures and that's going to make my house
going to get me more money.
That's not true.
No.
That's not true. Does it help? Absolutely.
Sure.
But people are going to walk in the house.
They're going to come to the house. Yeah. Really.
I completely agree with pictures.
Oh, I do too.
And the professional pictures, I completely agree with the staging, all that stuff. is very important.
Yeah.
But at the end of the day, the price is the most important.
Yes.
The price.
No doubt about it. But you brought it up, so I'm going to go through this door, okay, about these pictures again. I'm going back to it, okay? Because what you said is true. These people are going to see your pictures.
Yeah.
But they're also going to come to the house.
Yeah, I mean, because pictures determine, do they even want to come?
I agree.
Likely.
I agree.
So,
but here's
crucial.
my point on this.
Crucial.
Here is my point on this. And I cannot tell you how often we see what I'm getting ready to say.
I know where it's going.
Okay?
Yeah.
The pictures are immaculate.
Just knock yourself
out.
out.
Mean, you're looking at this and thinking, this house was built in 1984, and look at those cabinets.
Yeah.
Look how this place is glistening. Looks great.
Yeah.
And they come to the house to look. And you might have doctored on them pictures. You might have rubbed on those things a little bit.
A little bit.
Okay?
Yeah.
A little bit of massaging going on. And they walk in the house and they are immediately let down.
Yeah.
Okay, so we're going on a rabbit, so we're going on a tangent. We got to come back. But my point of all this is,
right, yeah.
Do not, when marketing your house and pricing it and getting all this done, like you said, you brought up the pictures, but don't let yourself or somebody else rub on those pictures.
Right.
To where when someone now does walk in the house, they're like, this looks nothing.
Yeah.
Like those.
There's
pictures.
Nothing worse than having.
They're out.
They're out.
They're out.
They are out.
I don't care how good of a house you have. They were let down when they come through the door.
Yeah. So many times. This looks
it
nothing
happens
like the picture.
So much.
Yeah.
So much. So rabbit we ran there.
Right.
But back to expireds. We're looking at the expireds because that's the roadmap of what not to do.
Right.
And you got to look at it.
Yes.
Okay.
Very important.
You got to look at it. Third and final. Okay. But this is what it's all going to be based upon. Okay. We're looking at the actives just to get a snapshot. What's happening in my type home market, because there's sub-markets within the market.
Right.
You gotta say that. There are all these little nooks and crannies and different things, different price houses, locations. There's subs in the big one. So you got to look at yours, actives. Expireds, no. We ain't going down that road.
Right.
Okay. Third part is we need to take a look at, you as someone pricing your house, you have to take a look at the sold market.
Yeah.
Now, the other two were really, really easy is why. This one to me is even easier.
Yeah, it's common sense.
But I'm going to let you tell the people.
Yeah.
Why are we going to look at the sold market?
Well, again, just like the expireds, they have now showed us here is what works.
Sure.
Okay. So this pricing, this what I'm getting for what I'm giving,
yes,
works. This
Absolutely.
is what people's looking for. This is what they're willing to spend. We have a record that people are buying 3-bedroom, 2 baths for X amount of dollars, 2-bedroom, 1 bath for X amount of dollars. So we now know this is what works. It's a good strategy.
No doubt. And so again, that's expired is the roadmap we want to stay away from. Solds is the roadmap we want to go down.
Right.
Because they've went down the road. They've got it right. They've did everything that needs to be done. And you need to look at that.
Yeah.
You need to see those things. Now, when we look at all of these, okay, when we take all of these 3 components, these areas, we look, we do some data, we do the research, we're checking square footage, we're checking location, we're checking beds and bath, brick and brick, fireplace, granite. We're looking at all that.
Right.
But the method that we typically use, and we're going to throw out to you guys to use to typically, okay, guys, I've looked at all this. Now what?
Yeah.
Okay. We suggest that people come up with what the method we use is called a price per square foot method.
Right.
How do you get that? Okay. You take your square footage. Okay. You take that square footage that you have. You look at the price. Okay. What price did it sell for? You divide that price that it sold for by the square footage, and it's going to give you a price per square foot.
Yeah.
When you look at it in all 3 of those areas, you're going to have your price per square foot for your actives. You want to do this in all those areas. You're going to have your price per square foot on the expireds, and you're going to have your price per square foot on the solds.
Right.
If you take those 3 square footages and you apply them to yours, you're going to have where your home would fit in all of those 3 segments of the market.
Right.
I caution everyone listening or watching this podcast to make sure that you make your final decision off of the price per square foot from the sold segment of what you looked at.
Right.
Because of all the reasons we've already talked about.
And here's something I want to say, because I think this is very important about that number. Okay.
Mm-hmm.
And I can't speak for the whole country, but I can tell you
Right.
how it happens right here in good old Tennessee.
Right.
You can price that house for whatever you want.
Absolutely.
But at the end of the day, more than likely, someone's going to be getting a loan on that house.
75% of the time.
And there's going to be an appraiser who comes out. And you know what strategy that appraiser uses?
Exactly right.
He looks at the houses that have sold.
Right.
And he comes up with a price per square foot.
Yes, it does.
And that's
Or
the way
she.
he determines, or
Yes.
she determines, what your house is going to appraise for.
That is exactly
So
correct.
if you try to go way above that number,
Mhm.
you're going to have bad luck when it comes to the appraisal.
Yeah,
time.
it's going to hurt you on the front side, though. You probably ain't going to have a whole lot of people come looking.
It's gonna hurt you
should
there, yeah.
someone sneak through the door.
Yeah, because you get those people that say, well, you can always find one. There's
Right.
always one person who's
Yes.
just going to love it, and they'll pay me whatever. That's
Yes.
true, and they might, but it ain't going to
Yes.
appraise.
No, there's no doubt about it. So, again, once you find those price per square foot, you apply it
Mhm.
to yours. Now, just some things to keep into consideration, and we don't have time. We're not going to go into these, but just other things to think about. This all is fine and dandy and just perfect when it's apples to apples.
Right.
When we start going apples to oranges, there are other things we have to take into consideration. Sometimes apples and oranges, and what makes those different is my home is sitting on 2 acres and everything else was only on a half acre. Well,
True.
there's a difference there.
There's a
okay?
big difference, yeah.
You got to start looking in those specific
Mhm.
areas. I can't find that house that doesn't exist.
Right.
Well, we may have to backtrack.
Mhm.
There's still a way to find all of that information out.
Right.
The other thing that you find out, and you said it earlier, is my home that I'm trying to sell, I have finished square footage in a
Right.
basement or in an upstairs.
Mhm.
Everything that I'm looking at is only a main level square footage. There's nothing in a basement. There's nothing upstairs.
Right.
I should get credit for that finished square footage in the
Absolutely.
basement and upstairs. You sure should.
Yeah.
But it's probably not going to be the exact same as what that square footage is everywhere else.
Right.
There's adjustments that need to be made in all of those areas, and you have to make those adjustments.
Yes.
We also see a mistake made a lot of times in pricing houses because they literally just look at square footage and at acreage. They don't look at, well, some of that's up, some of that's down.
Right.
Unfortunately, in most homes, for the person pricing the home,
Mhm.
if you've got square footage up and you've got square footage down, there's no doubt you're going to get a count that it's finished square footage.
Right.
But it typically don't bring what that main level square footage is.
Right. Especially
There's-
finished basements.
There's exceptions to
Yeah.
the rule, but these are just things we want you to know about in
Right.
pricing a home.
Right.
You got to look at a lot of things. It's not literally just, folks, my house is better than everybody else's.
Right. You cannot, if you live in town, you cannot compare it to a lakefront property.
No.
You can't compare it to, like you said, the ones that has,
No.
2-3 acres when
No.
you're on a half
There's a
acre lot.
difference.
There's a lot that goes into it. So
Yes.
again, conversation, man.
Mm-hmm.
I'm like you said, can't speak for the world, but for anybody in Tennessee, call us up, tell us what you
Yeah.
got. We'd be glad.
No doubt.
Be glad. Again, I think I can speak for the most part of the country, but any realtor in the country
If they're
would
worth
probably
anything, they
be
would.
tickled to death for you to call them up and
Somebody
say, "Hey,
will.
I want to know, what is my house worth?"
I agree 100%.
Yeah.
They're going to have that conversation with you
Yes.
and be able to give you factual data.
Mhm.
That's probably the most critical point of it all.
Right.
Just get the facts.
Yeah. It
That's
ain't
why you're
what-
looking at expired.
Yeah.
That's why you're looking at actives. That's why you're looking at that's factual data.
Mhm.
Data is going to tell the story.
Right.
Going back to it to wrap this whole thing up, we mentioned and we talked about earlier an emotional attachment.
Yep.
I'm emotionally attached to my home right now.
Absolutely.
Like, it's worth more to me and it should be.
Yeah, and it probably is to anybody else.
To anybody
Yeah.
else's home, it's probably worth more to you than anybody in the whole entire
Right.
world. By going back and looking at factual data, it eliminates, because that's fact.
Right.
It eliminates our emotional attachment to it. And you need to look at it in an open mind.
Right.
Now, doesn't mean that you got to be to the penny of what this stuff says. There's give and take in all this.
Right.
But the point of the moral of the story is that we're telling you today is how to guarantee to price your home right every time. Look at those 3 areas, find you a price per square foot, and see what that calculator spits back out to you. When you look at the sold, you put that pen to paper, it's going to spit you out the right number.
Oh, yeah.
You are going to get the right number. Anything else you got to add about any of that?
No, conversation, man. Have a conversation with a realtor.
Absolutely.
Have a conversation.
Again, if you're in the Lakeway area, Morristown, Tennessee, East Tennessee area, you want to know what your home's worth, call us up here at Elite Realty Group, 423-307-8566. One of our agents, no doubt, will be glad to 100% sit down and give you this data.
And we do have to say this because, again, we coast to coast, man. So
that's exactly
if you don't want to call somebody in your area because you
Call
don't
us.
know nobody,
Yeah.
call us.
We'll
Shoot us
find
a
you
message.
somebody.
We will find you someone.
We'll do all the legwork for you.
Yeah, that's
we'll
right.
do all the legwork for you. Thank you guys for watching. Thank you for listening today. Just a quick plug, quick reminder, whatever platform you're listening to us on, whether it be in a podcast form or you're watching us on YouTube, make sure you like and subscribe to our channel. Share our content out. We appreciate, again, lots and lots of action, lots and lots of views, everything going on. We appreciate everything you guys do for us. Hopefully, this podcast has been a good one for you. Until next week, we hope you guys are safe and blessed. From all of us here at Elite Realty Group, we hope you have a wonderful day. We will see you next time.